Hey, you guys, here we are again. Ooh, look, we're like all pink and it's kind of dark in here.
What the hell?
Well, I think my little light over there isn't on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why.
That's the damn, what you call it?
The red curtains.
Red curtains doing that.
I know, it looks like a dark room in here.
Yeah, this lighting system is not ideal. We need to get some more bounce on this.
Well, you know, I haven't had time to, so.
Okay.
You know, we'll get around to it eventually. But yeah, so I know it's like later than we usually do a matinee, but we were talking today about, well, you know, like for the matinee shows, maybe we shouldn't worry too much about doing them at a specific or the same time every day. Like maybe we should just do them when we can get around to do them. Because we've been out, like we were out pretty much all day today. So we just got back and we saw another movie this morning too. We saw Venom. So we'll be talking about that one tomorrow. But we actually saw the new James Bond film yesterday. And I quite enjoyed it. You know? Hello?
I thought it was good, yeah. I'm talking to the landlord. I got shit to do. All right.
Well, you should have said that before I started the stream.
Well.
I was like, oh, are we boring you? Yeah. But, yeah, it's... I looked up how long it was because, remember I said it's kind of long, but it didn't really seem all that long because I was into it. It was 2 hours and 43 minutes. So almost 3 hours.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was only about 2 minutes.
2 minutes? 2 hours. Yeah, it was almost 3 hours. Like I said, I knew it was long just because I wasn't thinking about like when we were watching it, but we went to like the first showing. I think it was at 10:45 in the morning. And then, so we watched it and I was like, wow, that was actually pretty good. That was like better than I was expecting. And then like Tom's like, oh my God, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And I was just kind of like, holy crap, how long was that movie? Like I didn't really think about it because we, because we went to Absolution last night too. So I'm still like really, really... really tired, man. I feel like I just haven't got any sleep like the last 4 days or something, and
we're wore out.
Yeah, and I was just like, I mean, we went to Absolution last night for a few hours, and it was cool. We saw a Starry Night and a few other bands and stuff, but it's just like the whole time I was like, oh my God, I was like, I could barely keep my fucking eyes open, like the whole time. But yeah, so like I said, we went and saw it in Dolby, and I don't know. I kind of feel like we can't really spoil it. I mean, this is the last Daniel Craig Bond movie, so you know that they're gonna like end it and it's gonna be like, you know, the finality and everything. And I actually I really liked the way they ended it, to be honest with you. I think that
everything got wrapped up in the movie. Everything got wrapped up.
Yeah, they didn't leave
series.
anything hanging or anything like that, which I thought was really cool. They just kind of like they wrapped everything up in a neat little package,
including all the bad guys. They wrapped up Spectre. They wrapped up a bunch of shit. They wrapped up fucking the shit that was happening at MI6.
Yeah.
Or MI6, isn't that what they called it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't leave anything hanging.
I kind of like the only criticism I would give, it's not as it wasn't shot as pretty. It's not as pretty as the other movies in the series, you know what I'm saying, in terms of cinematography.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Okay.
It was kind of like a little bit more like grungy looking. And it didn't have like these big, it did have like some big sweeping vistas, and it does go to a lot of places. Like they go to Italy, and they go to Cuba, and they go like some other places too. But I just feel like it wasn't as, because you know how, you know, Casino Royale and stuff like that had these big like sweeping vistas of like all these like luxurious locations, and this had like a little bit of that, but the you could tell that it was a different cinematographer. That's all I'm gonna say. But it wasn't really like that didn't really bother me, but it was just something that I noticed because of the other ones.
The theme song really didn't give an impression.
It was it was a sad song, another sad one, but I think that kind of like fit. Well, that fit the tone of the movie. Yeah. I mean, because you know, at the end of Spectre, you know, basically, you know, Blofeld got thrown in prison, and then James Bond was like, "Fuck this shit," and like went off with Madeline.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where this starts off.
Yeah.
Where, you know, there's a thing about...
With some flashbacks, too.
Yeah, it starts off with a flashback, which actually I really liked that opening sequence, because that was a little bit unusual for a James Bond movie. It was almost like a slasher movie. Yeah. Not exactly like a slasher movie, but it was sort of structured like that, and I thought that was kind of like interesting and sort of different. And it was just like a flashback, and then there's a bit with him and Madeline, and then... you know, somebody's after them, and then like it jumps ahead 5 years, and that's when most of the shit takes place because of that. But yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like it seems like it's doing really well, right? And we went to the Dolby showing at 10:45 in the morning, and it was almost full.
Yeah.
Which I was like really surprised. We had to sit in the very, very front row.
It's a strong movie. It's actually, the whole Bond series with Craig is pretty strong. 5 pretty strong movies. They weren't all exactly the same. This one was up towards the top, though. I think it was one of my favorite ones. It had a lot of Easter eggs and having to do with Bond. I mean, you go into MI6 and you look on the walls and you see all the M's. All right, you see Judi Dench M, and then you see the other M's from back in the Sean Connery days up on the walls. It is like kind of a regular Daniel Craig James Bond movie where it is gritty, but they kind of throw in a couple of things in there that might have homaged Bond fucking from the Roger Moore era, where it was kind of fucking bizarre, but it did make sense. It was kind of cheesy but bizarre at the same time, because Blofeld was fucking crazy. He did shit, he was weird, And Spectre was a fucking criminal organization that kind of had like a gothic flair for fucking the macabre, and some weird shit happened with that. I don't want to spoil it, this is non-spoilers. I'm just saying it's a good flick. Some shit happens that is like, what the fuck? The gadgetry and gizmo type shit happens, kind of like in like a Roger Moore movie. But it's just homage in it.
Yeah, it's not, and it's funny because this movie, even though it's overall like quite sad, it's got a lot of humor. There's a lot of humor in it. And I was like surprised, not over the top, but just kind of like there's some very dry humor in there, which I actually really liked and kind of appreciated.
I'd say in Casino Royale or maybe like Skyfall, that probably wouldn't have done some of the homages that this one did, but it did get away with it. The example I'm talking about is that James Bond has this fucking Aston Martin, right? It's been totally modified by his department over the years. And in one scene, and they show it in the trailers, so I'm not spoiling it. The headlights move down and a couple of fucking miniguns come out, and he starts cutting donuts, fucking firing off them fucking miniguns, and killing all these guys who had surrounded the car. It looked cool on film, and that was like some James Bond shit from a fucking Roger Moore movie. But anybody who's got any sense, who knows anything about things like military weapons and fucking miniguns and shit, not only could those guns not fit in that car, the amount of ammo that he fired off couldn't have fit in that car.
But don't spoil everyone's fun.
Yeah, but it just, it would. See, that's how she wants to be.
No, I'm just saying that.
That's how she wants to be. I'm just saying that they would have done that in a Roger Moore movie. No problem. That was a James Bond thing. They probably wouldn't have done that they didn't do that kind of shit in Casino Royale. Then they wouldn't have done it probably in Skyfall.
Yeah, they
were trying to be restrained in a lot of those movies. In this one, they went, nah, fuck it. Let's go James Bond. Full James Bond.
Well, they were trying to give, like you said, they were trying to tip the hat to the whole series.
To the whole series, right.
And not make it like cheesy Roger Moore 80s stuff, but just kind of like homaging that because it's like a culmination.
Yeah.
It's the last Daniel Craig Bond
the last
one.
hurrah, so
they wanted to, So even though, like I said, overall, it's actually quite a sad film.
Yeah.
And a lot of bad shit happens in it. But it does have a little bit of levity, and it does have a little bit of, like you said, homage to the older thing where there's more emphasis on gadgets. There's more, like stuff with the car and the thing with the eyeball and all that kind of stuff. Where it was just kind of like, I don't want to say goofy because that's overstating it, but
it was fantasy.
Yeah, it's just more like fantasy fun things, which, like I said, I think a lot of people that are into the James Bond movies, I think that's what they like about them.
Yeah, some people do.
Is that they're kind of like escapism.
Yeah, so
in a lot of ways.
They threw that segment a bone, and it worked. It worked good.
Yeah.
I love the movie. Trying to think what else they did that was different. I remember I had something in mind and it slipped my mind. Shit, what was it that they did?
I mean, I was thinking like with humor and everything like that. I really liked that sequence with Ana de Armas that took place in Cuba.
Yeah,
where she was She just had
Yeah.
she had 3 weeks training.
Yeah, but Bond didn't believe that.
I know.
I think being a bimbo was her cover.
Yeah.
That's not who she really was.
That was a funny sequence.
Yeah,
I liked
that. That was directly out of the fucking Roger Moore type series.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is that the trailers to this movie were very deceptive. I didn't like a lot of the trailers, especially earlier on. It looked like the movie was gonna be kind of emphasizing that the fucking Daniel Craig was fucking old and over the hill, and that he fucking was all broken down and shit. And they showed clips of him looking kind of bad in the first few trailers. It's not how he looks in the movie when you see it, though. Some of those scenes are in it, but he's just been beaten up a couple times, when you see him like that, and it just they make it known early on in the movie that he's probably pushing 60 now. I don't know how old he really is. What is he? 57?
I have no idea.
Maybe. No, they show him he's in good shape. He's in really good shape. It's not really biologically possible for a guy his age to have that physique and not have, of course, fucking assistance, from the secret sauce. But no, he does all kinds of fucking shit. He does get beat up and get hurt, but he does make it.
Well, and the thing about it too is I kind of feel like even going back to Skyfall, the theme of a lot of Skyfall, Spectre, like a thread that was running through there was that he's getting old. He doesn't really want to do it anymore.
Yeah, he's getting pretty beat up.
And he's kind of losing his enthusiasm for it. Yeah. So even though like in this one, obviously he's been retired for like 5 years, and then he comes back because there's obviously another big supervillain like plot that he has to help. At first, he starts working with the CIA, right? And then, they kind of reinstate him after that.
Yeah,
so,
he's a double agent in this for a while.
Yeah, but it's like, so they don't show, so even though he's been retired for 5 years, they don't show him, like, he has to get back into training or anything like that. But I didn't mind that because they did that in Skyfall.
Yeah.
Like, he'd been out for a long time, and then he came back, and he didn't have his shit together, and it took him a long time to get back into shape. So I was just kind of like, I felt like they've done that already, so they didn't have to do it. Like, he's been retired for 5 years, and he came back and... was fine, but it's like,
Yeah, well, they show early on that he's still has his physicality. He was living out on an island, and he was still keeping his shit fit.
Yeah.
And he still had weapons and shit that he wasn't supposed to have.
Yeah, he wasn't laying around on the sofa eating ding-dongs
No,
or
he was living in the wild, and fucking, he looked like Jamaica, He
was out fishing
and hanging out in the club scene and shit. And one of the first things that happens to him is he gets blown up. That fucks him up. Yeah. And then some guys tried to run him over when he's on a little narrow bridge. That was down somewhere in Greece, wasn't it?
That was Italy.
Italy, yeah. And he jumps. They show this in the previews. He fucking dives off the side of this down bridge to get out of the way of this oncoming car. Cable. And grabs a cable and pulls it down and uses it to slow himself down, but he smacks into the side of the bridge supports and fucks him up. And he was about 20 feet off the ground and fucking falls. Pooh! Fucking knocks his ass out. It's all kinds of shit. So, yeah, they let you know early on that he's still fucking ready. He can do his shit. But it is catching up with him, which it would. He kind of wanted to stop it. But he keeps getting sucked back into it. Another good thing that they did is that they brought back my fucking, one of my favorite characters. They brought back Felix.
Yeah.
He's not in all of the fucking new Bond movies. He's in.
Yeah, he's the CIA guy.
He's the CIA guy.
Yeah.
And he's kind of burned out, too. He knows that fucking the CIA is not all it's cracked out to be, and fucking that what they're doing is bullshit. He doesn't really believe it because they were actually in one movie they were going after Bond over fucking some false bullshit, and he let him go. Right. Yeah. He let him go because he knew it was bullshit. But he's in it, and when he works for the CIA, he's working with Felix. Man, I fucking love that part. And Felix is always calling him my brother, He's your brother's down at Langley, and all that kind of shit, because they were trying to let the audience know, in case they weren't American or British, that the U.S. and the British were allies on the intel front. So they worked together, and Felix also let it be known that the Americans had all the damn money. Okay, they had all the money. So. Fucking in Casino Royale, the Brits were running out of money, and he goes, "But we got all the money, and whatever you win, Just keep it. We got money. Because they fucking print that shit. Okay? So, so they finally sealed that. They wrap up Felix's fucking friendship with Bond, which that was the perfect fucking thing. They wrapped up all the things, all the loose ends.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything from the 5 movies that they left hanging.
Yeah.
I don't think they really did.
No, nothing was left hanging.
Yeah, and it was good too because they had, he comes back for like the last mission and everything like that, and they had something that was a big, even though I guess like from a scientific viewpoint it's just on the bare side of like maybe believable, but it would, they had let it go, it would have like killed like millions and millions of people.
Yeah, it's about
so it was like a big, but it's like a nanobot kind of thing.
It did both. It was nanobots, and it also had genetic coding
and DNA,
mixed in with it. It was, I guess you could tell the premise. The British intelligence was working on a damn super weapon. It was a bioweapon that had nanites and shit involved with it. And you could let this thing out, and it would specifically go after a certain person, and it would use the general population as carriers. So you're letting out a custom-tailored pandemic that everybody catches it, but it's harmless to them. But it kills one specific person.
Specific person whose genes are targeted. I believe it was smallpox, was it not? Like a weaponized smallpox?
No, it was Ebola. Wasn't it Ebola?
No, I'm pretty sure it was smallpox. I thought they were talking about Ebola like at the lab.
Well, they started bleeding out of their faces and fucking almost melting and shit. I was pretty sure it was some kind of. Well, I think it was a mixture of a lot of shit and nanites.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this weapon gets stolen by a group. And they want to retailer it to fucking end mankind and fucking purify the Earth planet and shit. So it's like a eugenics dream. It's a depopulation dream to kind of, fucking reduce the fucking Earth's population down to a manageable thing. It's kind of fucking interesting that these movies tend to come out with themes that are fucking topically relevant. There just might be something to what they're talking about. It's very Malthusian. The bad guy is a Malthusian, if you know what I'm talking about. Malthus. He thinks there are too many people. Basically, he wants to be the only person. Him and his employees.
Earth is getting a little too crowded. I'm just going to wipe out everybody.
Yeah.
Then I'll have all this room for myself.
Right. Now, it's not so simple. Spectre's involved with this shit, but you'll see. You'll see what happens to Spectre. It was a good flick. I liked it.
I liked it as well. Danny Rolling Ghostface said, did the film seem too long?
No.
I didn't. You know what? I really didn't think that. Like, because I was into it and I wasn't really. I think after it ended and we saw what time it was, I was like, holy crap, that was a long movie. And then when I looked it up later, I was like, oh my God, it was almost 3 hours. But it didn't really seem like that while I was watching it. I don't know. Because I guess I was just into it, and it kind of went from one thing to the next thing, and I was just kind of like, oh, what's happening now? So I don't know, it didn't bother me. Maybe some people would think it was too long, but I didn't think it was too long. Yeah, Mango's saying, did we spoil the ending yet? No, but I mean, it's the last Daniel Craig Bond film.
Yeah.
So. That's all I'm gonna say.
Got to mention to some of our regulars, though. We heard from Bee's Nest. He got sick.
He's here, I saw.
He's in there? All right.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, he got sick. He wasn't feeling well. He's back.
Yeah, because we were kind of worried.
Yeah, I thought the fucking cops got his ass. I thought those Mexican cops got you, bro.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Mango said, I wish Felix had a better ending to his story.
I thought it was good, though.
Said it had a lot of good stuff, but it really does drag. To me, it didn't really seem to drag. I don't know. I was kind of into it. And like I said, I'm not, you are a bigger, fan of the Bond movies than I am. Because, I mean, I like them, but I'm just kind of like, I'm not like a super fan or anything. And I've seen a lot of the old ones, but it's not really one of my favorite franchises. But I don't know, the Daniel Craig Bond movies, I just I always really liked them. And actually, to be honest, I think I liked this one better than Quantum of Solace. And maybe better than Casino Royale. I'm not really sure. Even though I will say, I think I mentioned this the other day, but it's like Quantum of Solace. I remember seeing that the first time and not really caring for it. But then when I saw it a second time, I liked it a lot better.
Yeah.
But I still think I like this one better than Quantum of Solace.
I think somebody's saying that somebody just puts 53 in there. That must be how old
Daniel
Craig is. In the face, he looks older than that. He does.
Well, it's just because he looks like...
And he's kind of craggy looking anyway.
Craggy.
Yeah, but...
Craggy.
No, and his physique though, he's fucking looks like a young man. He looks like he's been working out and fucking on the sauce. You could tell. Looks in pretty good shape actually, but he might need a little fucking nip and a tuck there, maybe.
Well, the thing about it is that
he's
53 years old and he's been doing these Bond films for what, like 15 years.
Yeah.
And he gets the shit kicked out of him. Like he gets beat up on a lot of these. Like he gets hurt on every single one. You know what I mean? And including this one. I don't remember like all the injuries he got, but he gets injured on pretty much every one, which I think is after, because I think initially, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he was only going to do 3. And
he hated them evidently. He didn't like doing these.
And then, because like I said, he gets his ass kicked on him, and it's like, and he just gets hurt on every single one. And so I think he was initially supposed to do 3, and then he got talked into. They said, "Well, why don't you do like 1 or 2 more?" And he was just like, "Okay, fine." And then like he did that, but then like this one, he was just like, "This is absolutely my last one. I'm really, really not doing anymore." But
look, man, you guys can. People saying, did you spoil the ending? Man, it's in the fucking title. It's in the fucking title. He said the last one. Yeah, he dies. He dies in. But he goes out fucking like a champ. And really,
he does go out like a champ.
There was no hope for him anyway. He got so fucked up that no, he couldn't live.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like you said, he goes out like a G, like kind of saving the world.
Yeah,
like
saving the world. He went out saving the world. But the thing is that you see it coming. You know what I mean? You know that that's what's going to happen, and he's losing everything anyway, kinda. So there's no turning back. He's got to fucking do it.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was good. And I think that in all the other ones, they just kind of end. Okay, and then they show up with a new Bond. I think killing Bond at the end of it was a good idea, because that way you're totally reboot and make a new James Bond, a whole new universe.
Yeah.
Whole new guy.
Which is what they've been doing from time immemorial, but it's like they never really had the balls to
end the damn story.
To end the series.
Right. So I think it was a brave choice to end the fucking series, to give Bond a fucking death.
Yeah.
That way, if you liked that series of movie, there's a totally encapsulated James Bond tale. It includes even what happens to him.
Yeah.
You have in one version where if you throw the last movie off, in one version he just retires. If you like that ending, then that's the one you.
But you don't have. Yeah, then you don't have to watch the last one.
You don't have to. But
because at Spectre, at the end of Spectre, he just like walks off with Madeline, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm retiring.
Yeah,
bye."
But retirement for Bond isn't how you're supposed to go out. That's kind of like going out like a pussy. Bond really should die.
Well, yeah, and
that's how die saving the world, like Captain Kirk. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Mango said, I think he went out like a bit of a wimp, but that's how I saw it.
That's just the way you're looking at it, bro. He went through all that other stuff. There was no other choice.
Yeah, he really did. He got to a point where he just didn't really have any choice. And like you said, he was kind of fucked up at the end too. Yeah, it's like he couldn't.
He wasn't gonna have a normal life anyway.
Yeah,
his life is over.
That's all.
So he might as well go down with everybody. And that's what he did.
Yep.
But he fucking had a bunch of gunfights, fucking killed a bunch of dudes, fucking shot dudes, fucking it was good. He went down. Now I don't want to say how he died, but maybe say this guy going out like a pussy, but not really, because it wasn't really enemy action. You'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't really enemy action. So in a way, you deny the enemy a victory. So it wasn't the enemy that killed him. See?
Oh yeah, you could put it that way too.
It was more like he killed himself.
Yeah, because he made the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's what Spock did.
Yeah. That's
Spock
right. He chose to sacrifice himself to.
Yeah. He goes into the reactor. Spock. It's too late, Jim. Open it up. No, you'll flood us with radiation. Yeah.
Yeah, he chose to sacrifice himself to save everybody.
It was a situation like that.
Which is kind of what happened. What happened here. Mango said, "I did like how he got rid of the villain. No messing about."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude tried to say some shit. Pow.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
You fucking Bond villains on your long-winded bullshit.
I think it was one of the top movies. I want to see it again. I'll definitely buy it.
Yeah, because you have all the other ones.
I have all the other ones, and it will. I think kind of my least favorite would probably be Spectre. But Spectre isn't bad. It's not a bad movie. Spectre's good, and they age pretty well. My favorite is still the first one though, Casino Royale.
I have to say that opening sequence of Spectre at the Day of the Dead festival with like the helicopter and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of good shit. That was fantastic. And when he was like running over the fucking tops of the buildings and the buildings are collapsing and shit, that was great.
None of the movies are bad. Even
Yeah, there's good shit in all of them.
Even Spectre was a fucking good movie. It's just I would say I don't know. It's hard to say. And some people say, well, Quantum of Solace. But no, Quantum of Solace, I think, is one of my favorite ones.
Like I said, I liked it better the second time I watched it. I didn't like it. The first time I watched it, I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just kind of thought it was like, I don't know. It was kind of boring or I just couldn't like get into the story. But then when I watched it the second time after I'd seen the later ones, I liked it a lot better.
And I think they had to kill Craig off. They had to. Because had they continued to make movies, it just would have gone down the Roger Moore channels of him just getting older and older and more ridiculous and fucking more pretty boy and fucking less combat effective.
He's like 90 years old and he's like pursuing these like 20-year-old fucking
hanging off his arms. It's just fucking some kind
of... And it would have started looking really weird.
Some kind of fucking old man
He's
fantasy.
there like on his walker.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit like that.
And he has like these 18-year-old girls going, "Ooh, you're so sexy."
Ooh, Mr. Bond. Like, well, of course. You know. Yeah.
He's like, wait, sorry, my depends shifted.
Beating up fucking 250-pound fucking wrestlers and shit. You know? And he's doing them with like Star Trek style karate chops. You know? He's shouting the fuck out of a motherfucker.
Hey, it worked for Captain Kirk. Yeah. He knows all those special like Bond moves. Man, I wish Kirk would teach me some of those moves. You can just go like that and it like fucking knocks a motherfucker out.
I once saw Kirk fucking make his fist out of two hands and hit a motherfucker in the back and it knocked him out.
Yeah, he did that a lot. I kind of feel like he was always...
What the fuck was that?
It's like normally people would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I'd like to see a dude try that. I bet you sometime in the 60s, dudes were fighting in a bar where some asshole fucking tried that on another dude. Thinking that would work. That dude looked at him and just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's like I can't even see, even if you were like really, really strong, I don't really see how that would...
Well, you got one fist, right? And now you got two. Okay?
So obviously that's better.
Fucking right. You know? Right in the back. Right in the center of the back. Knocks him out. It's reversed. It's a Vulcan technique.
Yeah, everybody knows that there's like this really special place, like right in the middle of your back, and if you hit it just right, you don't even have to. You can just touch it.
Yeah, right behind the heart. Yeah,
and it knocks the person.
Yeah, the Vulcans know all about it.
That is not true. The Vulcans know all about it.
Fucking right. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, if some fucking Spock could teach me that shit too, we just kind of go up and go doot like that, and they're just like, whoa. Yeah, man. I wish I could fucking learn all that stuff. Danny Rolling Ghostface. Hopefully there's a new Bond video game. Them games are always good.
Actually, there's a need to be a new one. What they need to do is remaster and re-release fucking GoldenEye off of N64.
I kind of feel like GoldenEye was sort of like everybody's favorite James Bond tie-in video game.
I loved it, man. When that thing first came out, even with that fucking sucky-ass N64 controller back in the 90s that only had one joystick on it, you could still get good with it. And you had to press the fucking left trigger button to fucking aim, and then the crosshairs would come up, and you could strafe right and left. It was a weird way of doing it. I don't know why they just didn't put two joysticks. They weren't thinking. But, no, GoldenEye N64 was like one of the fucking best first-person shooters of all times. There's just something about it in its era. The way it looked, the AI... The way the dudes reacted when you shot him. If you shot a dude in the nuts, he'd go, oh, and jump up and down sometimes. If you
ow, my balls.
Shot him in the knee, react. And it was all motion capture stuff. It looked good and had really good music for the time, and it just, you weren't really sure what was possible, what was going to happen. You tried to make sense out of certain things. You'd shoot office furniture and it would fucking blow up. You shoot an office desk and you shot it for too long and just go boom, boom.
Fuck this desk!
Yeah, and like pieces of it would disappear and you shoot those pieces and they'd disappear.
Fuck your copier!
Yeah. Yeah, you're running around in the fucking Russian Siberian fucking missile silo base or whatever, and these towers and picking up the clobs. They couldn't use the actual trademark. They weren't sure if you could use the trademark names for a lot of these weapons, so they had to rename them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there was all these weird names for, like, dude, that's a fucking CZ Scorpion, but they're calling it a clob. And then they fucking, I think they called the AK something or else, and
it's a Scorpion.
Yeah, they just renamed
Scorpion
everything.
gun.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Can I say that the trailers that we saw before No Time to Die and the trailers that we saw before Venom, which we saw today and we'll talk about
Venom
tomorrow.
Too, yeah. Venom was good.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about Venom tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think every single trailer we saw looked like something I wanted to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of good movies
Which
coming.
that's kind of crazy.
The new Dune trailer we saw looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, we saw the new Dune trailer.
Really good.
We saw, like I said, One Night in Soho, which I'm very excited about. Halloween Kills, that actually looks pretty good. So that starts next week, I think.
The new Halloween.
House of Gucci, the new Ridley Scott movie, that actually looks really good.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver and Lady
Scott.
Gaga.